I feel like the BookTok girlies are gonna get mad at me for saying this, but their favorite queer representation book, it was very empty. Welcome back to Cam's Book Corner. This book that I read, well, I put this book on my DNF list. And it might be a bit controversial that I put it on my DNF list because it's so beloved by so many of the BookTok girlies, but um I've come to realize that a lot of the BookTok girlies recommendations haven't, well, specifically this side of BookTok, um they haven't really hit for me. So the beloved book that I'm talking about is The Song of Achilles. And I hate to say it, I went in this book, thinking that it was going to be a beautiful, tear jerking, just absolutely life changing story. And I'm still the same. I am still very much the same. I could go so long without ever touching this book again, and I think I'd still be fine. I'm disappointed, but I guess I shouldn't be disappointed. It's really my fault because this isn't the first book recommendation that I took from TikTok, and I thought I would have learned the first 2 or 3 times, and I didn't. So, hey, shame on me, I guess. But anyway, here's the summary. Achilles, the best of all the Greeks, son of the cruel sea goddess Thetis and the legendary king Peleus, is strong, swift, and beautiful, irresistible to all who meet him. Patroclus is an awkward young prince, exiled from his homeland after an act of shocking violence. Brought together by chance, they forge an inseparable bond, despite risking the god's wrath. They are trained by the centaur Chiron in the arts of war and medicine, but when word comes that Helen of Sparta has been kidnapped, all the heroes of Greece are called upon to lay siege to Troy in her name. Seduced by the promise of glorious destiny, Achilles joins the cause, and torn between love and fear for his friend, Patroclus follows. Little do they know that the cruel fates will test them both as never before and demand a terrible sacrifice. I didn't make it to the terrible sacrifice. There was a lot of terrible in this book, though. Also, this review is not spoiler free. I don't think I'm going to do like spoiler free reviews anymore. I'm just getting into it because this book, I was very excited to read this because I was like, oh, I love Greek mythology. It was so much fun to indulge in when I was a kid. And, you know, the story of Achilles heel. It's like, yeah, I get another perspective on the on one of the great heroes' stories. But I was honestly let down with this one. Getting into it was, well, the first few chapters were pretty quick, and then you get into exile where Patroclus meets Achilles, and very early on I knew that it was going to be a story of obsession, and that's where I think the BookTok girlies like lose their moral compasses, because this is a story of obsession and it's scary in all the way. Like, yeah, love makes us do stupid things, but Patroclus is, I'm concerned. I'm concerned because some of the things that he and Achilles did, were just absolutely crazy. Like, bro, Achilles' mom is a sea nymph, a goddess, and you're gonna go against her? She could smite you. For her son, bro? Thetis is crazy. And you're going to risk your life? Okay. Here are my random thoughts. I I didn't like the part where they're talking about how Peleus conquered Thetis. Conquered her. She was a conquest to him. Okay. Also, I was uncomfortable reading an intimate scene between minors. I didn't think that needed to be included, at least not that early. But and I appreciate how Madeline Miller wrote the progression of Patroclus and Achilles' relationship, but I guess once we actually got to see, like, oh, okay, they're in love, but Patroclus he's kind of scary when it comes to Achilles. And I feel like I feel like one wrong move, one one specific theme change, one line that Patroclus could say, and this would no longer be a romance story. So I keep looking at this book like it's I keep looking down at it like it's gonna give me something new, but it's not. I was expecting so much from it, and that's what I get for expecting something out of the ordinary to happen. I don't really know what else to say. Here's what I'll say. It's a beautifully written story. But I feel like beautiful writing can only take you so far. When you have characters like heroes of Greek mythology, and you're going to give a different perspective to their story, there's so much you can do. And I feel like there was so much that wasn't done. What happened? A lot of nothing is what happened. Because like the writing is, and when I was looking at the reviews for the book, the spoiler free reviews, and looking at what other people had to say about the book, they talk about how it's such a beautiful story, how the writing is so beautiful, how it's whimsical and it will sweep you off your feet. I was waiting to get swept. There was no sweeping at all. Is it beautifully written? Yes. And I think that was its saving grace. It's beautifully written. The story, the war, dear Lord, just went on and on. Like I'm on page, well, I stopped reading at page 265. 265 pages. This book is 369 pages long. We've been in the war I think by the time you get to 265, they've been in the war for 7 years. I felt like I was reading that long. 7 years of reading about just the war alone. back to the whole beautiful writing. Like, the writing is whimsical, but the story seemed so empty. For a story that's almost 400 pages, fill it up. And beautiful writing can only fill up so much, but especially when your characters are as I guess I'd describe the characters as empty too. Patroclus and Achilles both low-key suck. They're awful. All of the characters are awful, honestly. Thetis is crazy. Peleus is a man. Most of the characters are men. Odysseus, Diomedes, uh-uh. Mm-mm. And yeah, if we're talking about, oh, well, they're men and you should expect men to be stereotypically men, I get that. But a woman wrote this. I was expecting more depth even from the men that we expect to be trash. But still, there was nothing. Lackluster. That's how I'll describe the book. The book was lackluster. And I remember everybody, well, people are still talking about it, but like right when the pandemic started and everybody just wanted to be a reader, there were so many people that were like, "Oh my god, the Song of Achilles, like it's so, oh, it's everything that you want it to be." And now that I've actually read it, it kind of gives me they both die at the end vibes. Like, that's literally what happened. They both die at the end. It's just, this book is just as empty as that book. I did a review on that one. They both die at the end was just as disappointing as this. I don't know what it is. Hopefully BookTok finds better representation, because these books aren't doing it. Let's move on. So here are the little lessons. I have none. I was so distracted by pretty writing that I felt like I couldn't really get to the substance of the stories. I didn't really want to know any more about how the characters think, what drives them. Well, we know what drives Patroclus. It's his obsession for Achilles. But other than that, I couldn't really learn. I feel like you can learn something from every book. I couldn't really learn anything from this one. Maybe don't be so obsessed with your lover. Maybe that's the little lesson. I don't know. But other than what I just said, other than that, I don't have anything of substance. What did I enjoy about the book? The pretty writing. There's one specific, just straight run of beautiful writing that Madeline Miller has on 134. And it's talking about how, I believe her name is pronounced Datamia. Datamia? Either way. This is when Patroclus goes to find Achilles off on that island. Whatever island they're at, and Achilles is disguised as a girl because Thetis didn't want him to go to war. She felt like he wasn't ready, so she sent him off to an island with a bunch of other women and disguised him as a woman to avoid the... Thetis is crazy. Anyway, Patroclus gets there, finds Achilles and everything, and it's a whole lot of drama that I don't even remember all the details of, just because it was so much. But, and like, that's another thing. There's so much drama. There's so much family drama, and there's so much infighting and drama can be done well. And the drama was done well in this book. It just never amounted to anything. And it's like, oh, I'll write some drama in here just, for the fun of it, just to shake the table a little bit. Keep going. I like the drama, especially between Thetis and everybody else, really. Those were the most entertaining parts, but I digress. The pretty writing, right, that's where I was. I'm going to read on 134. Had she really thought I would not know him? I could recognize him by touch alone, by smell. I would know him blind, by the way his breaths came and his feet struck the earth. I would know him in death at the end of the world. Like, yes, know the person you're in love with, but this is coming from Patroclus. I'm telling you, Joe from You could say the same thing, and everybody would lose their minds. The next little pretty writing line that stuck out to me. I remembered the long days I grieved for him, my hands empty and idle, plucking the air like birds peck at dry earth. Tell me that's not a man obsessed. Like, yes, a beautiful quote from a lover longing to be back in the arms of their lover. But bro, Achilles, you're in danger, girl. No, they're both in danger, but honestly, anyway, that's what I enjoyed about the book. And I'm starting a new segment where I give a song that reminds me of the book, or like I felt fit the theme of the book. And this song is honestly one of my favorite songs. And it's by Hosier. Hosier. How many years has this man been making music and I still can't say his name right? Anyway, Hosier. Either way, is from his 2019 album Wasteland Baby. The song is No Plan. It's my favorite song on the album, and I just felt that it was fitting because it sounds hopeless, like this book. It sounds hopeless. It sounds all-consuming, which is what I thought this book was going to be. And it made me think of how there's really no plan for these two characters. They went in every situation completely blind. And on the situations where it seemed like they had a plan, it kind of felt like impulse. Like they were moving on impulsive thoughts of, oh, well, he's not here, so I'm going to do this. No plan about what the repercussions could be, what Thetis is going to do. Absolutely no thoughts, just Achilles. That's it. I felt like this song was very fitting. Anyway, that's my review of the Song of Achilles. I'm disappointed. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars simply because the writing was the only redeeming quality of this book for me. Maybe if I decide to pick it up again and finish it, it'll get a higher rating, but I highly doubt that. But we'll see. Thank you so much for joining me here again. My next book that I'm reading, that I'm actually very excited about, one second, is Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. And I think it's gonna be a pretty good one. I like thrillers, so to future Cammy, come back soon, please, and let me know how this book goes. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.